Good evening, good evening, good evening. So used to saying good morning, good morning, good morning. But thank you guys for jumping on for this month's show of our speaker series. Sorry about that. We have, as we said on Access Denied, we got the Tennessee Titans on today. And, the football team didn't win, but I promise you, you're going to win with these Tennessee Titans, with your two moms who run phenomenal organizations who I've had the pleasure to work with, Miss Sonya Thomas and Miss Sarah Carpenter. Thank you guys for finishing the year strong with our last speaker series and coming in just to bring what's real that's going on in public education across from Memphis to Tennessee, even all the way to Knoxville and Chattanooga. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How about you, John Little?
Sonya?
Hey.
The life of an education organizer. The gray is real.
The gray is real. I just happen to have a little red in here, but the gray is real.
What about you, Sonya? How you doing today?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. I'm so freaking excited. I don't know what to do. I'm just excited about tonight and the conversation and the truth. We're gonna speak the power. So yeah.
Yep. So it's a lot, and I know people are starting to come in, but it's a lot going on in public education in the state of Tennessee, and for us to get a chance to have this conversation, not just about Memphis, not just about Nashville, but for our parents in both cities to see it's not just a Nashville or a Memphis thing. This is a systemic problem. Maybe anytime you have Black and poor people fitting in one room, like we always get the least of the less. And so I'm excited. I see parents are already jumping on. How you doing, Mr. Lampkin? How you doing? Let me just go through. We got Miss Fields, but first we have Miss Tamika, who was the first one. Miss Fields, pound the Memphis lip. We got Miss Yolanda Pete. We got Miss Tasha Renee. We got the Memphis lip. Hey, we got Victoria checking in. We got Mr. Lampkin, Mr. Bishop. We got Ashland. We got it's a lot of people coming in. So thank you guys for joining in and coming in. If you just joined us, our guests today are the Tennessee Titans, and now we ain't talking about the football team. We're talking about Sarah Carpenter, that represents the Memphis Lift, and Sonya Thomas, who represents Nashville Propel. And we're gonna take a journey. But first, and I'm gonna start with you, Sarah. We're gonna officially introduce you guys. I know we have two amazing people. We have Miss Cree Taylor, who will be introducing Sonya, and we have Miss Notoria, who will be introducing Sarah. So, Notoria, I'm going to turn it over to you if it's a good time. Let you introduce Miss Sarah Carpenter, and then I'm going to pass it to Cree.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here today to introduce a dynamic and outstanding individual. Sarah Carpenter is the founder and the director of the Memphis Lift, where the mission is to make the powerless parent powerful. I never thought in a million years I would one day advocate and work beside my mother, the Sarah Carpenter. For countless of years, I have watched my mother fight for children in our community. She definitely won't back down. And won't back, so many children in underserved communities will have access to a quality education. I present to some and introduce to others the Sarah Carpenter.
Thank you for that, Notoria. Thank you for that. That was amazing. It's amazing when you get to work alongside your mom and introduce her, and not, you don't got no grace. So you carry your work well. We can learn something from you, Notoria.
Thank you,
We're
Notoria.
gonna bring in, what's that?
I was just saying thank you, Notoria.
Yes.
I teared up a little bit, John.
We're gonna bring in Miss Cree Taylor to introduce Sonya. Cree has been a part of our fellowship, not only through the fellowship, but on and off the ground as a silent partner, as someone who comes to the school board, our backpack drive. So I know Sonya is excited about this wonderful mom who grew up here in Nashville, went to public schools. Her kids go to public schools. And so, Cree, I'm going to bring you on so you can introduce Miss Sonya Thomas.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we'll let you introduce Sonya, Miss Taylor. Okay, we might
John,
have
can
a
you hear me?
yes, ma'am. If you want to go ahead, I'll give you the space to introduce Miss Sonya. And what we'll do, we'll circle back. I know most people on here. I see my Memphis folks in here. They probably done heard of Sonya, seen her on a video with Sarah that I'm gonna post, and we'll look at through here. But I'm gonna come back to you, Sarah, as we get ready to get started, though. Like your why and why you do this work. Like what brought you to this work and what drives you each and every day through adversity to wake up every day to fight on behalf of children.
I guess it all started, wow, a long time ago, I say. Um, I'm gonna tell y'all my why. I had the opportunity but didn't take it. And I think this you and Sonya first time hearing me say this, that when you have the opportunity and don't take it, and then God give you the opportunity to instill in children and young people, take the opportunity. It's there. I had the same opportunity that everybody else had, but I didn't take that opportunity. Not because my mama wasn't pushing me, it's because I chose to do something else. And it wasn't the best thing. I gotta admit that. But that's my why. I didn't take an opportunity that I should have took. And I didn't. But God, all I'm gonna say is but God. And I have no doubt about my purpose in life. This is my purpose-driven work because I
Mm-hmm.
try to live a purpose-driven life. And I know my purpose. And when you know your purpose and your why, you gotta have a why to do this, and it gotta be real. And parents can tell when it's real. People can tell when it's real. Not only parents, because I think sometimes we miss people in the community. We go out to parents so much, but I got a neighbor across the street from me that's 80 years old, got great grandchildren, and she want what's best for them. She got great grandchildren. So sometimes we miss out on people that really care about children's well-being. So that's my why, because I didn't take the opportunity I should have took, and now I'm pushing kids to take the opportunity. I should have took the opportunity and didn't. So that's my real why, and I think this y'all first time hearing that, John and Sonya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And Sonya, we'll pass it to you. Kind of what's your why? But as I and Miss Cree, if you can hear me, I'll read it, and then we'll come back and Cree, we'll have you talk about the work just a little bit. But I'm gonna introduce you, Sonya. Give you that proper introduction.
Okay.
And so tonight, we have our very own Miss Sonya Thomas, who is one of the founding parents, activists for the first of its kind parent movement in Nashville, Tennessee, which is Nashville Propel. Our mission is to organize and develop powerful parent leaders to ignite a movement that demands equitable education policies and practices in Nashville public education. She joins founding leaders from Memphis, which you see Sarah on here, St. Louis, and Miss Crystal, San Antonio, Joe and Maribel, Oakland, with Lakeisha, Atlanta, with Kim Dukes, growing this national powerful parent movement. And she believes when children are inspired and given what they need, every child will reach their greatest potential. And so Sonya served as an education advisor to mayoral candidates and education center groups in Tennessee, and is challenged, as you guys are seeing this video, 2020 presidential candidates on their education plans, because those are the things that matter. She knows what's most important role is being a mother to her beloved sons, Jordan and CJ, and daughters Sarah and Trinity. In her spare time, she enjoys watching college football, as she says, Roll Tide, reading and sewing. And then Sonya, in the work of Nashville Propel, has been featured in Emily Hanford's What the Word Says, in BET's docuseries by Soledad O'Brien, Disrupt and Dismantle. In 2023, as we go into the new year, the work will be featured in The Truth About Reading by Nick Natton, who was a guy who essentially taught school, maybe all the way up to high school, but he couldn't read. and he just talks about that journey and why we have so many children who like him but can't make it and can't be successful.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. And I'm just like so excited about our conversation. Welcome, Memphis Lift. Welcome, Sarah. It's family. So it just makes it comfortable and smooth. And I'm always inspired by the work, Sarah, that you do and your leadership in Memphis and the team in Memphis. So, I love the way that you started off about with your why, because this work is so hard, and it's important that people understand why we're doing this. We're not doing it because it's lucrative and it's fame and fortune and got a lot of money in it, but we do this work because we believe that all children deserve a quality education. And I do this work in particularly because I never want another parent to feel like I felt when I realized my son in particular was not getting the education that he needed and he deserved. And so I get up every day fighting on behalf of Nashville's most marginalized families. And so I am thankful for a movement and thankful for the partnership, Sarah.
Let the church say amen.
Sarah got her Dr. Pepper and I got my Coke.
So one of the things I want to go through, and Sarah, we'll start with you. Like as we think about public education, right? And a lot of us on our journey, we went to the schools we were zoned to. We got an education. We don't know what it got us, but we still look back at our communities, especially the Black communities and the poor communities in Nashville, Memphis, and we see it's highly likely that if you went to school in our communities that you didn't really get a chance to make it out. And so in Nashville, I know we see declining populations. In Memphis, I see the same thing. And so what are some of the things that the Memphis Lift has been working on over the past, over this past year, since we're walking into December in a couple of days? What has been some of the important things you guys are focused on with your parents and decision makers? And it's on mute, Ms. Carpenter.
I think the most important thing is the superintendent search.
Okay.
And being a part of it, for so long. And I think it's been like a decade since they did a search for a superintendent. And I think we got a board now that really care about what the community think. And that's the way public servants should be. When you elected, I look at you as a public servant and you speak for me. And for so long, people haven't been listening to the community. And I think we got a board now. I really do. And I'm not just saying this because I'm not trying to sell nobody anything. I think we got a board now that realize that the community is important. The community sent them there to represent us. So that's the main thing we working on. And y'all, and I know y'all know this just like I do. Our kids can't read. Our kids cannot read. And I find it in Black boys especially. I'm speaking from what I know and what I have seen over the years. When Black boys can't read, they drop out of school. They don't want to stand in front of the class and read, because they're ashamed. And I think that parents need to really know these things. So, I mean, the main thing, again, we working on is that superintendent search and being a part. And thank God I was named to the advisory committee by the board, one of our board members, along with.
They said you're not at the table.
Right.
They said if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So
right. And I don't plan on being on the menu no more.
Come on now. Time is out.
I don't. If I have to push my way through every time, I don't plan on being on the menu. And guess what? Our parents not going to be on the menu. We tired of getting ate up on the menu.
So, well, Sonya, that sounds a little bit like what, some things that are happening in Nashville. But over this year, what has been the focus and the direction for the parents who have joined the movement with Nashville Propel?
So I think that first, let's start with them because they are the movement. And so the focus has been awareness. And Sarah, she hit it. She said a lot of people don't know. It's making sure that parents are in the know and developing their power. We started off at the beginning of the year going to the state and advocating on behalf of children. We also been working on our priority school and literacy campaign, and we have to talk about priority schools tonight. It's something that's happening both in Memphis and Nashville. But the reason why they're priority schools because these are schools that consistently are low performing, whether it's in ELA or it's in math. And as Sarah said, our kids can't read, man. And it's terrible that people are having birthday parties, as I should say, or manipulating or deceiving parents. Otherwise, we have kids that are going to school 12 years only to be reading on a second and sixth grade reading level. And so we've been hitting that hard. We've been hitting the ground, door knocking, making sure that parents and people in the community know this because they don't know. They don't know because they're not being told. And the reason why the dirty secret is not being told is because they can do it. They can say they're going to do something. They really never have to do it until parents organize, unite, and hold them accountable.
Man. And so this has been, talk about a little bit about this state report card that came out today. We were talking about it before we jumped on here just because it just came out. What is that? What's happening with the report card? What does it mean for families in Memphis and Nashville? And what are some of the things we want to do about it coming in the new year?
Ooh-wee. Really? Sarah, I don't know about you, when your kids used to come home and bring the report card home. It was, for me, it was unnerving. Because you really didn't find out until report card time how they were really doing. I mean, you kind of had, I hope they're doing okay, but you really didn't have the receipt. And today, the state of Tennessee, they rolled out their receipt. And I think what alarmed me and scared me is when we look at 3rd through 5th grade, and more than 70% of those students are not reading on grade level. Yet, when you go to the state website, it says that the district is a 3.5 out of 4 achievement score.
Mm-hmm.
There's some deception there because
I'm gonna jump in, Sonya. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this accountability protocol thing. Y'all, what parent gonna read this? What parent got time to read it? What parent gonna understand it? They need to simplify the data for parents.
Yes.
They need to simplify, and they keep it like this because they know parents not gonna read this stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost crazy. It's really at the Memphis Lip, Sonya, we say it's criminal. Somebody should be in jail for what's going on. Our kids are getting killed on the streets, and they getting killed when they walk in most of these schools.
Yes.
And I don't care if it's a charter school or a district school. But I'm going to say this. I don't want no option taken off the table for our parents.
Yes.
None whatsoever. It's criminal the way they doing not only our children, they doing the parents like that too. They doing our communities like this. No parent understand this stuff. When you see somebody on TV celebrate, we're a level 5 district, but then you get the NAEP scores, and we the lowest in the country. Then you get the report card, and half our kids ain't reading over more than half our kids not reading on grade level. So what the hell going on? They need to go back to the drawing table, from the state all the way to the local district, and redo this stuff so parents can understand it. They don't want us to understand. Hey, I still agree one of our board members on here.
But you know what, Sarah? Like you say, before you get to the understanding, you got to find the shit. Excuse me. You got to even find it. The stuff it's like I refer to it as the FBI hidden secret. Like they have this stuff stored in their database where you don't even know where to go find it. And so today's report card that they put out was supposed to be a transparency, but if 70% or more of the kids are not reading or doing math, and you say that the school has a 3.5 5 out of a 4.0 achievement score, the math ain't mathing. That don't make no sense.
They got to simplify the data. I'm just saying they got to simplify it for parents to understand. But I almost went hood on these folks.
Go hood, baby. Go hood.
We got a trick for them in 2023. We got a trick for them, John Little.
Hey, trick or treat.
Come on, trick or treat.
I went to North Memphis on these folks. We got a trick for these folks. We ain't finna play with
Taylor. Miss Taylor says it hurts when you know they don't give a damn about our children's education, but we are fed up and we're not going to take it anymore.
Right.
And I think
Miss Taylor,
like it's not a receipt, it's sugar.
Miss Taylor, I'm standing 10 toes down with you, Miss Taylor. I don't know where you at, but I'm standing 10 toes down with you.
Yes.
Simplify the data.
We need to be clear. We want the data because that's our receipt. We want the data, but make sure it's accessible. Make sure we can follow it, and make sure there's some transparency in it.
Right?
Didn't Tennessee get in trouble, Sarah, a few years ago for not having truth and transparency?
Well, Sonya, Tennessee been in trouble with me, the data shows they've been in trouble. The data shows they've been in trouble.
Sir.
They ain't just got in trouble, they've been in trouble. I'm calling on our lawmakers. Hey, Dr. Gray. Dr. Gray on here. I just try to shout people out that
Hey, Dr. Gray.
We invited. He one our advisors in Memphis.
All right, Dr. Gray.
And what makes it so good, he'll pray for you too. He'll preach it too.
Come on now.
We angry mamas and grandparents on here, Dr. Gray. So we unapologetically mean what we say.
And our school board commissioner is a preacher too, so they pray for me, honey, on a daily. They know they have to pray for me. Because I have to catch myself before I go North Memphis on these folks.
Go on and go North Memphis. Sometimes you just gotta go North Memphis.
Y'all
listening.
No, man, I'm trying to calm down, and I thank God that we got a board and people at the district level finally listening to us. John, you know how hard it was. You was right here with us. Wasn't nobody listening to us. Wasn't nobody listening to us. Nobody.
Nope.
But now I just thank God that we got some people on the board that know who God is, number one. And number two, want all kids to do well. And if they don't, guess what? Again, we got a trick for them in 2023.
But you know what? You know what's crazy is you just said a whole mouthful, because the key too is having people on the board. So parents, that's why we talk about get out to vote. We have got to put people in position who will make decisions in partnership with parents. And Nashville does not have that. Nashville does not have that right now. And so parents, we are a nonpartisan organization. We don't tell you who to vote for.
Right.
But now that you know, go on and use your vote and exercise your power.
And we've been voting for people because of their name, because they got a name. I recognize this name. Now you need to recognize what these people stand for and what their platform is. No, baby, not no more. We're going to educate our parents.
That's right. We're gonna make sure they.
it was a nursery story, or what they call a fable, but the Pied Piper. They liked this music, and the kids followed them out, or the Hansel and Gretel. They was cooking good, and Lord knows I love a good cooking, but she was cooking good for a reason. Ain't nothing for free.
Ain't nothing for free, baby. Ain't nothing for free. And look, don't get got. We done got for many years by elected officials. And when we talking about people that are our own color too. So we got to make sure that people have values and people have the decision making that is going to make sure that our children reach their greatest potential.
Y'all, for 20 years or more, I've been fighting people that look just like me. Look, some of them a little lighter and some of them a little darker. But these people look just like me. So it ain't about color. It's about who's going to do right by our children.
That's right.
It's not about who's right. It's about what's right. We got work to do.
They got to have a moral compass, Sarah, as I say. They got to have a moral compass, man. We got to measure people's morality around children because these children are dying, literally dying in the streets and leaving school with no foundation.
But you know what, Sonya? In Memphis, some of them ain't even making it to school.
Yeah.
They ain't even making it to school. I remember years ago, you would see teachers coming to the community. And I ain't gonna even lie to you. Some of these communities, if I was a teacher, I wouldn't go do But I promise you, these people, our teachers lived in the community that they taught in. But again, that's a whole nother show, I believe.
But you know what, Sarah? I think that's where the partnership comes in too. Because we are the people from our community and we can reach people better than they can. And so I think the partnership comes into play too when the school districts understand our power as grandmother and as mother to be able to go into the communities that we serve, that we were birthed in. These are our people. And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes that they're making is use us for other stuff. Use us for that.
Right.
Use us for that.
Y'all, we doing some stuff, Sonya. Y'all doing it in Nashville too. We doing some, I almost cursed, but I ain't gonna curse today. I
ain't gonna make no promises. I'm sorry.
We doing some things that ain't never been done in this district. Right. They got a whole parent engagement department over there at the district and can't give us 300 surveys back. And we got 900 back in 3 days. Come on now. But they don't want to use us.
Sarah.
So why they don't want to use us? Because they making 6 figures over there to do nothing. I'm calling them out. And I know one of our board members on here. It is what it is, Commissioner Green, and it ain't what it ain't.
Yeah, all I see is Louis Vuitton bags and red bottom shoes, baby.
I go to that district. When I go to board meetings, I ain't seen an ugly car over there. At them kids you say, I ain't seen a hoop there on the lot. At these schools, I ain't seen a hoop there on the lot. Our kids are paying car notes, house notes. They driving our community. You come to render a service. Give it all you got. Hey, Shalia, another one of our board members online.
Only thing we getting is 5% literacy scores and below.
But I just, and I'm not just saying this, y'all, and y'all know I don't say nothing I don't mean. I'm not just saying this because these board members is on this live. I'm saying it because it's the truth. We got a board now that listen to the people. And if they stop listening to the people, I'll be standing in front of the board with a sign. Princess Mia, I saw what you put. You need to call me.
If you guys don't mind,
North Memphis.
I'm gonna take us to one of the reasons why we're here. Because we want to make sure we talk about this. Is this priority school situation, Sarah? How many of y'all got in Memphis?
We got 30. I'm not gonna call the names. We got 37 priority schools. I got the list right here of all the schools. I'm not gonna call the names out. I'm not gonna call the names out tonight, but I got it. I got what I need right here.
And we've got 19, and 11 of those have been on the priority school list since 2015.
Some of these been on the list since 2012.
It's sad. And so what's happening is, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that means. That means that these children are going to low performing schools from elementary to middle to high school, never ever experiencing a quality education. Never in their life. And Sarah, I mean, let's talk about what that means. I mean, we kind of mentioned some of those things, but when you think about that, like, what comes to mind?
What come to mind?
I want you to
North Memphis, I want to fight.
Yeah. Can I ask a question though, Sarah?
Again, criminal. I keep saying it's criminal. Somebody should be locked up for. Vish, I seen what you said, and I don't like these people because they nice. I like them because they care about children. And I know Shalia and Althea Green really care about children. It's some more people on that board that really care about children.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one person on that board may have to go, point blank and period. These people making the hard decisions. I have seen them make the hard decision. Did I believe them at first? No, ma'am, I didn't.
Right.
No, ma'am, I did not. I seen what Visha put, and I'm just commenting to it, y'all. But we got, it all goes back to accountability.
It does.
We got to hold people accountable. And again, I'm going to say this, and John and Sonya, I'm going to let y'all have it.
Okay.
In 2023, we got a trick phone.
But you know what? When you were saying that, I ain't gonna lie to you. Guess what I was sitting here saying in my head? They can care about them all they want to, but Sarah said she got a trick for them. That's what I was thinking.
We got a trick phone, man. We're gonna do some revolutionary stuff. I mean, and that's not a threat. That's just language we use in the hood, child. You remember a long time ago when somebody bothered you, John, when you were growing up? I got a trick for you. That's what we used to say.
But what came first? You know, some of us did Bedside Baptist yesterday. Some of us went into the sanctuary. I didn't make it, but you know, the question is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I want to go to a comment that's on here. And Miss Bella Jane, who I know is down for the movement, she says, it's too many parents that don't care. That breaks my heart as well. And Sonya, you said something. You said some of these folks, people I went to school with, people y'all went to school with, went from, and they didn't have the list back then, but we know now, looking back, they didn't get the good education. And so for the parents, how can you turn it around when you didn't get it yourself? How can you teach algebra if you never learned algebra? How can you teach Spanish?
Which one of you for sending the question to?
It's an open question.
Okay, Bella Jane, my parent, and she powerful, y'all. But I cringe when I see people say parents don't care. Yes, they do. And I said this at a meeting about 3 weeks ago. We were sitting at a table. Parents didn't know about these tables. Bella Jane, you at the table, baby, now. But you didn't know about that table. Parents didn't know they could sit at the table with the decision maker. But it's a new day, baby.
And they was talking about her. If they looked at her like they look at me, they'll say, "Oh, like look at them. They don't care. They don't realize how invested." But what happens when you do go to the school to advocate? Do you always get it, or do they give you the runaround?
No, they give you it'd be 6-on-1. Can I say a few years ago, I was looking into crime, Sarah. I was looking into crime because they was talking about Black people always killing people and blah 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 blah. So I began to do a little research, and I'm going to make a point here. So I looked at the federal statistics for crime for each city, and I looked by race. I looked by race, Sarah. I said, okay, is it more Black people committing crime? And when I looked at the federal data from the federal government, it wasn't true. I say that to say, we have been programmed by a system that uses that language that parents don't care and parents shame. They said that I didn't care about my son. And I'm sure they said the same thing about Sarah and many of the parents under the same.
They didn't say that about me, Sonya. I can attest to that.
But it doesn't have to be true, is what I'm saying. They can say what they want to say, but I've never met one that don't care. I've met one that doesn't know what to care about. Now, I have done that. I have met a parent that just didn't know what to care about. And so I beg to differ from that. I know parents that have struggles. I know parents have had some stuff that have happened to them. I know parents that are struggling so bad in their household that they got to think about putting food in the mouth versus a report card. I do know parents that do go through that. And so I wanted to clear that up.
I done met in 30 years, I done met drug addict parents. I done met street walking parents.
They care.
And they care. They really care about their children. And when them kids do what they do and do well in life, they smile. Yes. Some of these parents done beat the odds, some of them didn't. And y'all got to realize we dealing with parents because we can't have no babies no more. I can't anyway, you know.
No, it is. I
But
can't either.
but y'all, these young people we got to get to. And there's a lot of young people. And I tell Bella Jane, she's a young single mom. But that girl on her job. But it's our job. They said knowledge is power, but shared knowledge is power. So Bella Jane, I advise you to go pull in some of your young friends that got babies. One girl told me about a week ago, Tim Jones on here tonight, he did a book signing at our office, and I mean, it was so many young people came. And one girl said, my baby just won. You know what I told her? I said, if you start fighting now, it'll be right when your baby get to school.
Come on now.
She said, yes, ma'am. Guess what? I called her. She answered. These people want to see things done better. We tired of our babies dying in the streets. Y'all, our kids ain't even making it to school. They talking about school. I think school and community go hand in hand. Some of our kids got to walk through the lines then to get to school.
Yeah.
And we got city officials and county officials sitting back in their easy chair, not doing anything. Again, Visha, I promise you, I would never just get a board member shout out if they didn't deserve it. And I think these board members that's on here know that about me. I really believe we got a board of education that's going to listen to the people. And Sonya, you got to make them listen. If they ain't, we'll come to Nashville. We'll come to Nashville and help you shake it up.
Yes, ma'am. And I believe that. Let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you about not knowing. Back in 2019, one of our high schools graduated a valedictorian with a 14 ACT score. Did you hear me? One of our high schools. And I'm not going to say the high school because then you'll know who the child is possibly. One of our high schools graduated a valedictorian with an ACT score of 14.
Wow.
Now, I can only imagine, Sarah, the family sitting in the crowd celebrating the accomplishment of that child.
And when she gets to college, she's going to have to do remedial class.
Not even knowing, just because that child was a valedictorian with a 14 ACT score, what that meant for that child.
Yeah.
And so knowledge developed is power.
But you know what, Sonya? I'm go somewhere else right quick. I'm going left field right now. The state put out something. All this data is like they talking about closing some charter schools here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't advocate for charter schools and I don't advocate for district schools. I advocate for great schools for all kids. If you close these schools up, where these kids going? They surrounded by low performing schools.
Lions dens. They going to the Lions den. They're gonna get ate up.
The state didn't even do the A through F grade. Mm-mm. And we gotta look at the pandemic. That hurt every school. To me, it did. And every child got hurt. I'm telling you, because I was right here with my boys, and I would go in there in the front. I was in the back working, go in the front. They just knocked out, snoring, sleep. So I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Our kids are suffering. Our kids are suffering, and that can be a charter or a district. And I don't care who it is, anybody can get it when it comes to our children.
Yes, Sarah. I mean, you know, they have been celebrating that the fact that the schools are back pre-pandemic, right? And what's scary about that is when you've got, you know, whole generations of children, you know, with small percentages, 5% of the kids, 7% of the kids, you know, being on track for math. I beg to differ that it was the pandemic. Because ain't no way nobody had it. And I'm talking about the high school students.
It's been going on. Sonya,
it's been going on. Like they never had it. And so we gotta also, you know, I know we've got to give some grace about the pandemic, but they don't want to celebrate that we back to pre-pandemic and we was already in dismal, dire need of something to save these children. And so the pandemic, it what it did was amplify what me and you've been saying and what people been saying across this country. That's all it did. And as a matter of fact, look, I'm so petty. I ain't gonna lie. Guess what I said? Welcome.
But you know what,
Sonya?
Sonya? That's what this parent movement is all about. Is when they in there celebrating with the white tablecloths and with their evening gowns on, we should be kicking them doors open at the Hyde over at the University of Memphis. We should be kicking them doors in at the Titan Stadium saying, what you celebrating for?
That's right.
You got to go hood sometime, man. And
that's what, man.
Well, I'm telling you, that's what we got to do. We can't allow these people to give us this stuff right here. This stuff right here. Mm-hmm. We can't allow them to keep giving us this bull crap. Y'all thought I was gonna curse. I didn't.
It is what it is.
We can't keep getting this and don't nobody parents ain't picking it up and don't understand. We can't keep doing that, Sonya.
I don't think our board members understand it. I got a feeling. Okay, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They must not know. They must not know that 11 of the priority schools been on there since 2015. They must not know that 75% of the elementary schools in MNPS
1, 2, 3
are low performing elementary schools. They must not know that Glencliff High School is a dropout factory. Sarah, they must not know.
Okay, Sonya, I'm gonna say this right quick. on this list that I got, again, I'm not gonna say the names to protect whoever. It's 8 of these schools been on this priority list since 2012. I'm looking at it. And guess what? It's not a charter school. Nope. But if you gon', I think all schools should be held to the same standard. You know what? And Commissioner Green and Shalia Harris, I appreciate y'all being here. But if we take these kids away from these failing factories, I call them, and show up with 100 kids to get in Middle College High School or East High School, yeah, they done drove the kids away from East High School and be after and send them to low performing school. But guess who go there? The rich suburban white parents driving into Memphis to go to work downtown in different places, dropping their kids out at a high performing school at East High School. It's no fair. It's no fair.
Rhea said, what about all the parents whose babies are on the honor roll, but they have no idea their child's school is a priority school? They just don't know. And so
I heard a wise woman say, if your baby get an A, you ought to ask, how did she get it?
That's right.
If your baby get an A, you ought to ask, how did they get it? A wise woman told me that. And I want to call her.
These got to have an exit ramp. They cannot be stuck in low performing schools. They have got to have an exit ramp out of those schools. In the district, in MNPS, they have a roadmap to equity.
I'm going to tell you.
And let me tell you what equity is. Equity is knowing how to read.
Yeah.
Equity is being able to go to a school that's going to help you to reach your greatest potential. Equity is having an educator in front of you who understands the foundational literacy skills so you can get it. Equity means that all schools look like the highest performing schools in the state of Tennessee. That's what we need. And these kids, equity looks like being able to put a plan around these kids. Equity means no matter what your zip code is, right. I can take KJ or Caleb or Kendarius or the little boy down the street from me to any school in this city, and he gonna get a great education. We don't have to pass by schools in our community. We don't have to do that. I mean, it shouldn't even be a such thing as optional or magnet school. All schools should be magnet schools or optional schools. But let's educate them why they did the magnet schools. Remember when we had segregation back in the civil rights, y'all? So what happened was the white parents did not want their kids to go to school with black kids. So they called it white flight. They left the school system.
Okay,
So
Sonya, what about black flight? Some
Come
black
on
folks
now.
don't want our kids to go to school.
Right.
They kids.
Right. So they white flighted, and they built magnet schools to bring the white people back. But I like that black flight.
But Sonya, we gotta, if we gonna tell the truth, we gotta tell the truth across the board.
That's right.
Some of our own people that look like us don't want our kids in the schools with their kids. But guess what? If you don't, and I say this anywhere I go, I don't care if I'm in front of billionaires, millionaires, or thousandaires. I say that if when we get it right for our children, we getting it right for your children too. Because sooner or later, these kids gonna cross paths, right?
That's right.
So if you fix it for my community in North Memphis, guess what? You fixing it for Germantown and Cordova and Collierville too. Because at the end of the day, our kids are out here wreaking havoc on our community because they don't have the education they need. Again, I'm gonna tell this story again, and I'll tell it anywhere I go because it's my story. The boy that murdered my boy, the one of the boys that murdered my grandson, the detective is my friend, and he said, the young man said, "How much is this $10,000 bond?" He said, "Man, that's $1 million bond." So that let me know a system failed him too. Yep. Come on, y'all.
Yep.
But we do got just as many kids gone away to school that's doing the right thing, but they don't talk about them. But we gotta focus on the kids that's not doing the right thing. Y'all, our kids are smart.
Come on now.
And I'm gonna go further back to say what I said in a TED talk. You mean to tell me you can send man to the moon but can't teach a kid how to read? Come on.
Man, it's, you know what? You gotta want to teach them. And we gotta go back. Like, that's why. So when you think about people trying to take away our pieces of history, you gotta be careful what people try to omit. When they try to omit our pieces of history, it was never meant for us to know how to read, because if you know how to read, that means you're powerful. It's more powerful than even having a weapon in your hand. But the reason why a lot of guns are put on the streets for our kids is because of to kill each other, to destroy them that way. So I guess the method has changed too. There's a method of not teaching them how to read, getting them in the streets, putting guns and drugs in their hands.
Modern day slavery.
And having them to eliminate themselves.
Modern day slavery.
Modern day slavery. And so why are we talking about priority school, y'all? Because they're the lowest performing schools in the state of Tennessee. And guess whose kids go to them? Our kids.
Right.
Our kids go to them schools.
In our communities.
In our community, where we live, where most of us were born and raised. Our kids go to them schools. And so that's why this is important.
And when somebody tell me, I don't have kids, I say, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Every adult on this live, every adult in Nashville, from Nashville, clean on down through Fayette County, Madison County, every county to Memphis, we owe our children. If you're an adult, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, we owe our children. We owe our children. We owe our children. The children that messed the world up, adults did. And our kids are like, y'all think I'm lying. I met 2 young men this weekend, and it broke my heart the way these little boys looked at me. Y'all, they looking at you like, please help me. They looking. I read a story last night, a 13-year-old was killed. I don't know if what he was doing, maybe trying to steal a car. I don't know. Don't quote me on this because I don't have the full detail. 13 years old. And then somebody on the Facebook post said the mom reached out trying to get help for her son. It ain't like they not reaching out. No parent want to see their kids killed in the street. Parents are looking for answers, but we not. I feel like we not doing what we supposed to do. And I'm including myself too now. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but y'all, our parents are reaching out, our children are reaching out, and nobody got their hand out to reach back for them.
No. You know,
and it's really sad. It makes me sad. What keeps me up at night?
Yeah.
To see how many people that don't care about children. And I'm talking about from City Hall, across the street at the county building. Our mayors now, we got 2 mayors, Sonya. I don't think y'all got 2 governors.
No, we
right?
got one.
We got 2 mayors, a city and a county mayor, right? I'm
Mhm.
calling them out, and I don't give a damn tonight. Now, nobody, no elected official talked about the NAEP scores, and we the lowest in the country.
They don't want to talk,
Nobody even
don't wanna talk
talked about it.
they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk
Nobody.
about the truth.
When
They
we
don't.
was talking about what was going on in our district, nobody wanted to join us, Sonya. Nobody talked to us. I walked in that boardroom that night to say this man need to resign. You know what?
Mhm.
I went to that door 3 times. If you don't believe me, anybody, any security guard can tell you. I walked out that door 3 times, and I wasn't going to smoke a cigarette either. Looked like the devil said, you need to leave. You don't need to get up there.
Mhm.
But look like a voice from heaven way. I'm preaching now, y'all. Said, go back in there. Go
Yeah.
back in there. And I went back. Nobody stood with us. Nobody wanted to stand with us.
Mhm.
But I knew I had to do something that night. If I didn't do it that night, it wasn't going to happen.
That's right. You know, I just saw a comment on here, and somebody says that education starts at home. I want to help somebody out with that. I love it when people say that educating your children starts at home. There is some truth to that, but there's some gerrymandering. Use a big word that they use out in the school system. There's a little betrayal in that. First of all, what starts at home is moral guidance, okay? Modeling of behavior. I know that. We all know that, but that's not what we're talking about. When we talk about teaching a kid how to read, I want to educate you guys on something. I always like to tell people stuff, and then I have them to go check what I said so you won't think I'm lying. I want you to ask a teacher, because all of us know teachers. Some of us have friends that are teachers. Ask them the name of the class that they took that teaches children how to read. I had a principal that came over my house the other night to get some cake. I made some homemade caramel cakes. And so his wife sent him over to my house. And you know I kept him in here 45 minutes. He came in and got the cake, and we started talking about what we do. And so I asked him, I said, what was the name of the course that you took to teach children how to read?
I don't think it is one.
There is not one.
I thought so.
There is not a course. And so for those of you who think that education starts at home, reading don't start at home. Now, there's about 5% of human beings, 5% in the whole wide world that can pick up on reading. The brain is not set up to read English language. So most of us who have high IQs, Sarah, we're smart. Our kids, we know our kids are smart, they're brilliant. Y'all talk about they can play them video games and learn them songs because we learn language first. And what should be happening is when they go to school, they should be able to read everything that they say. But that starts at school. That should happen in a school building. So when we talk about education, I want you guys to stay focused on the difference between education and rearing. Rearing starts at home.
Right. Moral values.
Moral values start at home. Modeling of behavior. But see, that's a whole nother movement. What we're talking about is academic achievement over here in education.
But you know what, Sonya? I'm gonna jump in on you again. Mm-hmm. Don't mean to cut you off, excuse me. But parents need to also, the parents that think it starts at home, just think about you taking your kids to school at 8 o'clock in the morning now, say.
Yep.
Most parents leave home at 7 o'clock. They at school to 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yep.
They at school more awakening hours than they at home. And I'm not blaming the school system because I do believe that our parents got to teach some more values here. I do believe that. But academically, they should get it at school.
I am blaming the school system. I, Sonya Thomas, believe that if a child goes to school, they have the right to be taught how to read.
I believe that too.
I am blaming the system for its failure to adequately educate children. I believe at this point in time, they are incapable of educating children. And if you want to, education system, I'm talking to you under the side of my voice, prove me wrong, because right now I got the receipts to show that you ain't. Right now we got every receipt to show that they are not educating children. And my thing is this: I am 47 years old, and I'm tired of begging for people to educate our children. And so what that exit ramp looks like, they can finish the sentence. Children need an exit ramp out of these burning buildings.
We put Chaselin, my youngest granddaughter, in a homeschool. And when I tell you, and this to everybody on here, this lady, we put her there because she was behind in read. This lady have gotten her so far. She go there. It's not at home. She go to this lady. And this lady is moving the needle. So I think that our district and charter schools need to look at what works over there. Just like we got some schools doing great jobs in this city.
Yeah.
But they too proud to ask them what they doing. What are you doing?
Why you think they? Because that amazes me. How
I think it's because they forgot where they came from. Number one, they think they know it all because they got a doctorate degree, but you ain't teaching kids how to read. What?
But walking around with the scarlet letter on their chest, F for failure, and I don't get it. I don't get how people can make excuse. And you know what? This is not personal. Like the principal that came over my house, I gave him some cake. Gave him some cake and some sweet potato pie and some cheesecake. So it wasn't about me liking him. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what happened. His wife texted me and said, "You got my husband over here brain churning." And that's why we're not going to shut up. And that's why Sarah's saying in 2023, if folks don't listen,
I got a trick for you.
Because we're tired. And we're going to keep on advocating for children from this day forward. And so what I'm excited about is a movement in Memphis, a movement in Nashville, and a movement across this country.
But you know what, Sonya? I got family in Fayette County, in Madison County. Y'all, our system is broke. It's broke. And in rural areas, it's broken even more.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to correct us. Our system is rich, but it's broke down. It's breaking down on the children. It's rich as hell. I don't know how much money y'all get in Memphis, but look, I'm gonna do.
You know what? You know what, Sonya? One year I was in New Jersey, and John, you might remember this. They was getting $22,000 or $21,000 a child. Kids still can't fucking read.
Nope.
Kids still can't read. So it ain't the money.
It ain't the money.
It ain't the money.
Sarah, that was 4 years ago.
Sarah,
so they get much more now.
Wait a minute, here in Nashville, they have the lowest enrollment, about 77,000 children. The lowest is that it's been in a long time, and they got more money than they ever had. And you know what our mayor said? Our mayor said that the community is underserved. I be damned, we overlooked.
Well, hell, at least our mayor said something. We got two, and ain't never one of them said nothing.
They mute, huh? Ain't got nothing to say.
But it's up to parents. These are our babies. We want them to live. We want them to do well in life. So it's on us now. Every parent on this live, it's on us. I cussed Bella Jane. I didn't mean to.
But that's okay. So Sarah, how does people in Memphis who are listening join the Memphis Lift?
Oh, they know how to join. We got parents on here. They bring other parents. Y'all, we walk in the streets. You can call. My cell phone number is 901-864-5004. And Miss Fields, Mr. Gaston in here too. Mr. Gaston run a amazing school. And guess what? My granddaughter go there. Sonya, it's so much that gotta be fixed. And I ain't gonna even be petty right here. But yes, I am gonna be petty. Because I got a trick for these folks.
Mhm.
They need to feed our kids better. Some of our kids go to school hungry, come back hungry. But when my kids get home, they eat. But y'all got to think about the kids that when they get home, they not eat. They can't eat the stuff at school either.
Sarah, I school, you know what? I ain't studying them with food. They done wasted so much food. They could feed the army. I done seen trash cans with good food in it. And so, you know, my thing is if they hungry, feed them. But when I send them there, educate them. And if you guys want to join Nashville Propel, you can go to our website, nashvillepropel.org. My phone number is on there. You can email us. You can message us on Facebook or on Twitter. Sarah, I have enjoyed this discussion. We got to do this again in the new year because we got a lot to talk about. I want to hear about that treat you about to give. Oh, yeah.
Oh, baby. Baby. And it ain't even October. That's all I'm saying. It ain't even October. John, it's good to see you, Sonya. I enjoy being with you too. Miss Fields, you will put our information in the chat. Because we on Facebook, Twitter, as Miss Fields can say,
and the gram. Hey, and you know what?
MemphisLift.org.
And you know what, guys?
Look at Mr. Gaston. Mr. Gaston, I love you.
Mr. Sarah and I are going to be working together on some state initiatives to be seen soon, to be talked about soon. So we'll be able to work together and partner, hopefully coming into the new year. And I am very excited.
I got to tell y'all this right quick.
What's up?
Gaston, I'm going to give him a shout out because he a part of my girl's village.
Uh-huh.
My girl had some issues.
Mm-hmm.
And most schools wouldn't have let her back.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gaston waited on her to get what she needed and come back to school. And for that, I'm forever grateful.
Yes.
And he got a level 5 school.
Mm-hmm.
And my girl is a sped student. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even question about that. He took her in and working with her.
It's the love and empathy. It's the love and empathy, Sarah. Like we got the love.
But all I'm saying is, why they not looking at what other schools doing? Y'all know what?
Uh-oh.
To care about their children. And the children know when you care about them. Because I'm telling you, I got some grandkids on a grandmother could love some days. But
I love your kids and great kids.
I love them too. But I mean, only I can love them on some days. But I got people that when I send my grandkids to a school, I make sure I don't talk to the principal. I talk to the ED. I want my kids taken care of.
That's right.
I don't want my boys walking in this area.
That's right.
They better stay in their school till somebody pick them up.
That's right.
And they do just that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it and thank our parents for tuning in. John, I'm just getting my little piece before I go. I just took over John. John, go ahead, John. I'm sorry. I love our parents, John. And our parents know I love them. I love our parents so much. Again, because they show up, man. They show up.
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
No, but I told people they didn't believe me. I said we got the Tennessee Titans on, and I ain't talking about the football team. And when you look at, I think we reached close to 60 at 1.61. There've been 1 million comments on here. There's been a lot of agreements and some disagreements, but this is the conversation we have. Some people say we need to be radical. Some people say they need to start at home. Some people say we need to just come out deep. Some people said you got me effed up. And I just think these are the conversations we need to have.
I didn't say that, John.
One of the parents said it. They said they got us effed up.
Okay.
But it was all good. But please like and share this if you're in Memphis, if you're in Nashville, or we saw Bridge to Hope on here. We saw the Parent Shield from Fort Worth with Trinace. Like, thank you guys for jumping on. And thank you guys, Sarah and Sonya, for lending us your time for our last speaker series of the year. And indeed, like, it has been one of our best this year. It just came from 2 very strong women with strong opinions. They got kids and grandkids. And we ain't
great grandkids.
And great grandkids.
Man, I want to shout out the parents of Nashville Propel and the parents of Memphis Lift. When we say that we love y'all, just know that we really love you guys, and we're willing to sacrifice, even ourselves and our own thoughts to make sure that your voices are amplified. And again, thank you, Sarah, for being here. It's been a joy. And I hope that you come back again and come back soon, because we got so much to talk about. Like, we could keep going on and on all night, but we got to close.
We still had it for 2 hours, honey. John ready to go.
Maybe we need a special edition next year. Y'all put it in the chat. Y'all want us to do a special edition in 2023, a 2 hour special edition.
Maybe we can bring some of our parents on. Look at Miss Cupton. Where you been, girl?
Yes. We'll bring some of our parents on, because you know what? It's a danger in a single story. We want to make sure that their stories are heard. But y'all, this has been our speaker series, our last one for 2022. Again, thank you guys for joining, and go and be blessed and be ready to fight, because the movement continues.
And we got a trick for them folks, man. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Right.
John, we got a trick for them folks, man.